guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is Sunday. It is 12 o'clock, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, normally, this is where I take all of your questions that you've asked during the course of the week, and I answer them to the best of my ability. However, this week we're going to be trying something different. We're going to be answering one question and doing a really deep dive on that question. And this question has come up over and over and over again. So I'm gonna do a very deep dive on that particular question. Now, if you've asked a question last week, don't worry, because I will be taking those questions and answering them next week. And if you have any fresh questions, leave them down below. And again, I'll get to those questions next week for you. Absolutely not a problem. But I wanted to address a really big question that comes up over and over again. And there's lots of different variations of this question, which is, how do I become a successful professional magician? Or how do I become a professional magician? People want to know, oh, okay, I'm doing a job. How do I go full time? Or I'm going full time. How do I take my career to the next level? Or whatever it may be. Variations of that question come up all the time. Now, I've said on the channel that when I hit 10,000 subs, I'm opening a second YouTube channel that's specifically about business, and it's specifically about marketing and business growth, and it's going to be very specific to performers, magicians, and anybody who's a performer. However, I didn't want to wait until there's 10,000 subs to answer this question because it's coming up all of the time. So this whole video is going to be the ultimate guide to becoming a successful professional magician. And I am taking this seriously. I have made notes. You know that when I have a piece of paper in front of me with lots of writing on it, I have actually taken this really seriously, and I have. So I'm going to be going through everything that I'm not going to go through everything because this would be a 25-hour video, but I'm going to go through the basic information that you need to know when you're trying to make the decision to go full-time. This is the stuff that you need to know. Or maybe you are already full-time, or you're part-time and you want to kind of, as I say, take your business to the next level. This is going to be the ultimate guide to that. So hopefully everybody that's asked this question, this is going to be giving you the information that you need. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. One important point that I want you to consider before we start talking about anything is I want you to try and figure out what success means to you. Because different people have different definitions of success. And you look at magicians that are successful, and they're successful in completely different ways. So what is your definition of success? You know, there's some magicians that are jobbing magicians. Nobody knows who they are. Somebody like Owen Strickland. Nobody knows who Owen is. He is one of the busiest magicians you'll ever meet. He is the premium wedding magician in the Midlands. He's never short of work. He's got a great lifestyle. He gets to do what he loves, and he doesn't get to spend too much. He's great. That's a successful magician. You might look at, but you might look at Chris Cox. Look at Chris Cox. I talk about him because he's just been on the channel recently. He tours all over the world. He's on tour every single day. He's playing to audiences of tens of thousands of people. He's been on TV. He's had his own TV show. There's a successful guy. Both Owen and Chris are successful in completely different ways. I know of tons of kids entertainers that go out and do kid shows on a Saturday and Sunday in a couple of schools in the week, and that's all they do. The rest of the time they sit around and, you know, do the odd gig, do the odd marketing thing and run their business, and they're happy with that. They're not wanting to build up masses of gigs. They're happy with the level they go out. To them, they are successful. You look at somebody like Dynamo, global megastar. He's successful in a completely different way to Chris Cox, in a completely different way to Owen Strickland, in a completely different way to a kids entertainer. Look at me. I've never really had a TV show. I've never really, although I consider myself a really good magician, I have as a motivational speaker, but as a magician, I've never commanded the highest fees like I see some people doing. I'm perfectly happy with the fee that I charge when I go out, and it's not a pittance, but it's nowhere near the level that I know some people go out. But as a company, we turn over millions. But that comes with a lot of pressure, a hell of a lot of pressure. Like, so much pressure. If you knew how much money we gave back in refunds when coronavirus hit, oh my God. So, but, you know, you might look at me and go, well, Craig's successful because of this. but I'm successful in a different way. The point I'm trying to make is try to figure out what success means to you. Because with all of the information that I'm going to be giving you, you have to understand that it's very much dependent. All of this information is going to help you. It's going to help you achieve your goals. And I'm going to be talking about goal setting. I'm going to be talking about having a clear mental image. And I'm going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. But ultimately, it comes down to honestly asking yourself a question. What is your definition of success? What position do you want to be in 20 years' time? And you look back and you go, yeah, I'm happy with where I am right now. It's a very important thing that you need to do. So I suppose the first question is, what right have I got to talk to people about how to become a successful professional magician? Well, all I can do is talk to you about what I've actually done through my career. I have been a professional magician for probably the best part of 30 years now. And I've absolutely loved being a professional magician. My career has changed throughout the years. I've pretty much done every type of magic you can imagine. I've done kids shows, I've done restaurants, I've done close-up, I've done corporates, I've done ships, I've done holiday parks, I've done big illusion shows, I've done cabaret shows, I've created magic, I've marketed magic. I've literally done everything. And now I'm at the point in my career where I run 2 entertainment companies. And between those 2 companies, pre-COVID, we were doing probably between the two, about 15,000 events a year, off the top of my head. During COVID, during lockdown, we probably dropped down to about 8,000 or 9,000, all virtually. And since the world has started opening up, we've been busier than ever before. We're probably booking about 200 or 300 in a week. I say this not to brag, but to tell you that I know a lot about running a business. I've been running businesses for many, many years now, employing staff, and I understand the business side of things. In fact, I get booked quite frequently as a speaker, going into events and speaking at those events on the subject of business growth. I actually get hired by companies to speak to small business owners about how to actually take their small business and take it to an entirely other level, and tricks and tips and tactics that they can use in order to take their business to the next level. So I know a little bit about business. I know what I'm talking about. And one thing that you have to understand about magicians, and this video is specifically about magicians, the one thing that you need to understand is that magicians, they focus on the show. They do not focus on the biz. And in the wonderful world of show business, there's 2 words, there's show and there's business. And most magicians spend all of the time in the world doing nothing. They sit at home practicing their double lift over and over again. And then they wonder why they've got no gigs. Why is that person booking gigs in instead of me? Why did that person get the gig that I didn't? Well, it's probably because they did something from a business point of view that you didn't do. And a lot of magicians think that the work is going to come to them. And I know that because that was me. For many, many years, that's exactly what I did. I sat at home and I didn't really need to do many gigs or earn much money because Sarah, my wife, you've all heard me talk about her, she was a deputy head of a very large primary school, so she made good money. So I could live off her wage and I could just go out and do the odd gig or 2 and sit at home during the day and do very little, and that was wonderful. And it all ended for me when I got, Sarah came home one day and she went, I've got great news, I'm pregnant. With Ryland. We didn't know it was going to be called Ryland then, but I'm pregnant. And she went, that's the good news. The bad news is you need to step up now. I'm not going to go back and full-time teach. So you have to provide for this family. And if you want to do that as a magician, that's fine. Make it work. If not, you need to look at other options. And I did not want to not be a magician, so I had to make it work. And I had that kind of switch flick in my head, that light bulb moment where I knew that everything had to change. And that's when I started focusing on the business side of things. I've got a background in business anyway. I've got a background in business entrepreneurialism. I've got a BA in business entrepreneurialism, but I kind of got lazy. It was easier to sit around doing nothing and practicing my double lift, to be honest. But that's when it all changed. And that's when I really started to seriously focus on building a business. So I know what I'm talking about scaling a business up and doing pretty well. Now, there is one thing, before I start giving you these points, there is one thing I want you to understand, which is I am going to assume that you are at the level from a performing point of view where you can go out to a gig and you can do a good job in whatever chosen arena that may be. So if you want to be a stage magician, I'm going to assume that you've already got a stage act and you've already got a good stage act. I'm going to assume if you're a close-up magician, then you're in a situation where you can go out to a gig. This is not going to be a video of me talking to you about the tricks that you need to do in order to be a professional magician. This is specifically going to be about the business side of things. And I know that there's not going to be as many people that watch this as normal videos on my channel, because I know a lot of people aren't interested in the business side of things. But for the people that do watch this, I think this is going to be probably the most valuable video that you are going to watch on this channel, period. I can pretty much guarantee you that. But if you aren't at a level where you are competent as a magician, if you can't go out and do a gig well and not get negative feedback, then I'm afraid you need to be in that position first. Okay, and go out and do some free shows. Go out and work in do some free gigs. Go out and get flight time. Get yourself into a position where you are comfortable going out and performing to people. That's who this is intended for. Either people that are part-time, they're already full-time and they want to go to the next level, or maybe they're thinking of going full-time, but they've already done some gigs and they already know they can go out and do it. Right? That's who that's intended for. This is very important. So I'm going to give you a whole bunch of stuff that you can action and you can do. And I guarantee you, if you follow the steps that I've outlined on these two pieces of paper, if you follow the steps that I'm about to go through with you, I guarantee you, your business will be successful. I guarantee you, you will get more gigs, you will get more money, you will get more income, your business will run smoother, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard work. And it's not going to be fun. Unless you enjoy business and marketing and that side of things, it's not going to be fun. But here's the thing, my business coach, Claire McTerran, she always tells me, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Now, I know there's going to be people here that say, you don't need to know what Craig's talking about. I've been a successful magician for 30 years and I don't worry about this, and I don't worry about marketing strategies, and I don't worry about business bank accounts, and I don't worry about that, and I've always been fine. But you know what? They're the people that normally come knocking on my door saying, have you got any extra gigs? I'm short to pay the rent this month. They're normally the people that aren't in a position where they can make ends meet. So it's up to you. You can run a business like a business, and that's what I'm going to teach you how to do, or you don't have to if you don't want to. It's up to you. But if you do choose to follow the advice, first of all, it's only advice. You don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but it is going to require hard work. With that in mind, let's have a look at point number 1. Okay, so the first point that I want to make here, the first thing I want to bring up is you have to ask yourself a question. Why are you doing this? Why have you decided to become a full-time professional magician? What's your reason? You need to have that motivation. You need to have that reason. You need to know why you have become a professional magician. There's got to be a reason. Is it because you want to be famous? Is it because you want to appear on TV? Is it because you want to be rich? Is it because you don't want to have a boss? What are the reasons? What's the reason why you want to become a professional magician? If it's just because you love magic and you want to practice magic all the time, well, that's not going to happen. You'll realize as I'm going through these things, the actual practicing of magic tricks and the actual performing of magic tricks, that becomes way less important as you start running your business. It really does. It's crazy really when you think about it, but the people that buy the new magic tricks are the amateurs, are the hobbyists, because they've got a full-time job, they've got some disposable income, and they've got time to sit around and practice. A lot of your professional magicians that are doing it right, they're going out to gigs, they can't afford to try and work a new trick in, they're putting they're doing the same trick now that they did 10 years ago. They become, not everybody, but a lot of close-up magicians and a lot of magicians that are full-time, they become less creative because they just need to make sure that they're doing the gig and getting the money and so on and so forth. So understand why you're doing this, because that's going to be your driving force. My friend Cross, who calls himself the mindset technician, he calls this having a clear mental image, having a CMI. And it's really important to have a CMI because When things are going wrong, and trust me, in business there are going to be good days, there are going to be bad days. The path to success, let's say you start your first day as a professional magician here, and this is ultimately where you want to go up, you're not going to ever get a line like this. It's going to be more like this. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, and on the days that there's lows, you're going to feel like quitting all of the time. You really are. And the thing that keeps you going is knowing why you're doing this in the first place. Having that clear mental image is so important. It's kind of like if you jump on a ship and you're in the middle of the ocean, right? And you're piloting the ship. Do you call piloting, driving, shipping? I don't know. Captaining the ship, whatever it may be. If you don't have a destination, that ship's just going to go round and round and round in circles. You need to know where you're going. And that's called having a CMI. That's very important. So understand why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Why are you wanting to become a full-time professional magician? I spoke with Morgan and West the other day, who are amazingly successful. They've built up a huge brand for themselves, and they talked about this subject, and they said that they find it funny when a magician wants to be a stage magician, and their plan is, oh, I'm going to do close-up magic, for 10 years, and then I'm going to do a stage show. Well, that's not how it works. If you want to be a stage magician, if you want to be a grand illusionist, for example, you need to start working towards that right at the very beginning. You can't just go out and do close-up magic and then assume that an illusion show is going to drop into your lap that you can go out and do. You got to bust your balls putting that show together and knocking on doors, having them shut in your face over and over again, putting yourself into a position where eventually you have this show that's successful. Look at any successful magician. Look at anyone that's achieved success. They will tell you that they've worked their ass off. Nobody is an overnight success. Even if they appear to be an overnight success, they've probably worked their butt off beforehand to get themselves into a position where you think they're an overnight success. So the first thing that I would say to you is understand why you are wanting to be a full-time professional magician. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is set goals. This is all the stuff that you do before you even start thinking about running your business. Set yourself goals. Now, a goal is very, very different to a clear mental image. A goal is something that's actionable. It's an actual tangible thing. You have to know what you're wanting to achieve. You have to have a goal. It's really important, because if you don't have a goal, then you won't know what you're shooting for. You won't know if you're doing well or badly as a business, as a self. And understand this: when you become a full-time professional magician, a self-employed magician, you are running your own business. You are thou a business owner. Understand that you are running a business. You are maybe the only person in that business, but you're running a business. How are you going to know how well that business is doing if you haven't got a goal? If you don't know whether you've hit what you're trying to achieve? And I always say to people, the thing with goals is you want to kind of shoot for the moon. It's that old expression, isn't it? Shoot for the moon, and if you don't hit it, you'll reach the stars. An analogy would be, imagine if I'm standing on my garage roof, and next to my garage roof in the backyard, there's a big tree, right? And I want to jump off my garage, and I want to grab hold of the tree. And on the tree, there's two branches. There's an upper branch and there's a lower branch. If I jump and I try and grab hold of that bottom branch, and I focus on nothing else but that bottom branch, if I go to grab that and I miss, I'm going to fall on my ass, because I've got nothing else to grab. If I miss it and I undershoot, I'm screwed. If, however, I aim for the top branch, which is a lot higher, if I don't hit it, I'm still going to be further up than I would have done if I'd aimed for the lower branch. So I'm going to be able to grab that lower branch on the way down. And that's the thing with a goal. Make your goal big, because then even if you don't hit it, you're going to be further along. Now, you don't want to make it ridiculous. You don't want your goal to be, in a week's time, I want to be doing corporate shows at $1 million a year or £1 million a year. You have to make it achievable, but you want to kind of go above where you would normally go. Now, the other thing about goals, and this is going to probably cause a rift immediately, is a goal should be beyond just you have to think about a goal. A lot of people right, how am I going to put this? So a lot of people, when they're thinking of a goal, they think of a monetary amount. I would like to do 10 gigs this month at 300 quid a gig. I want to make myself £3,000, whatever it may be. And that's fine. There's no harm in having a monetary goal. There's no harm in having a monetary goal at all. However, what you want to do is you want to kind of set those goals based on what you want. Because when, again, it goes, we're talking about the highs and lows right now. When you're in a low, when everything's gone wrong in your business and it's all gone tits up, just thinking about money isn't enough. It's really not. So what is your goal? So if I was sitting here making a goal right now, I might say in 3 years' time, I want to have a holiday home in America. Maybe that's something that I want. Okay, so I want a holiday home in 3 years' time in America. What do I have to achieve in the business in order to achieve that goal? And the other thing, goals should be long-term, because then you can push for them. You don't want to. We'll talk later on about short-term and medium-term goals, but your goal initially should be long-term. If that's my goal, what do I want my business to achieve in order for me to hit that goal? So I want this holiday home. Well, how much money is that going to cost me? How much do I need to get in order to get that holiday home on top of my other bills? Okay, so I need to do that much. How many gigs do I need to do to accomplish that, taking into consideration expenses and so on and so forth? Right, okay, so that tells me now how many gigs that I need to be hitting in year 1, year 2, and year 3 in order to hit my goal. And now when things are going crap, I'm not thinking, about the money, I'm thinking about the holiday home. Does that make sense? So have goals that you want to achieve in the business. And this all comes back to know why you're doing what you're doing. You should have a clear reason for becoming a full-time magician. Now you've got these goals. You've got a big goal that you're aiming towards. And as I say, we'll talk about small and medium-term goals in a little bit. But set yourself goals. Number 3, treat it like a business. You have to treat it like a business. And I know that sounds ridiculous. It really does. And I say this to magicians all of the time and they go, I'm not a business owner. You are a business owner. You absolutely 100% are a business owner. And because you're a business owner, you have to treat everything like a business. All the way through, like everything. We're going to talk a little bit later on about money, and we're going to be talking about bank accounts and things like that. In fact, yes, we're going to be talking about bank accounts and so on and so forth later on. But you have to, everything that you do, you have to treat it like a business. It's not a hobby anymore. Yeah, it's a business. And so you have to approach it like a business. You come into the office at 9 o'clock in the morning and you get ready for work and you're working. A lot of magicians will sit there on their ass at home all day, doing nothing, dicking around, and then wondering why they've not got ahead. You look at people like Owen Strickland, who's one of the busiest wedding magicians in the UK right now. Why is he so busy? Because he busts his arse going to wedding fairs and networking and speaking to people and getting people to know who he is. There's a reason why almost every venue in the Midlands thinks of him as the wedding magician. It's because of the work he's put in beforehand, because he's treated his business like a business. He hasn't dicked around at this. He's worked hard, right? Treat your business like a business. Number 4, it's important to absolutely master time management. Now, when my new YouTube channel launches, when I hit 10,000 subs, I am going to be spending a lot of time talking about time management because it's something that magicians really struggle with. But here's a couple of pieces of advice I can give you about time management. It's really important to manage your time effectively because it's very easy to be a busy fool. I will say that again. It is very easy to be a busy fool, to act like you've had a really busy working day when in actual fact you've achieved absolutely nothing. It's very easy to do that. You wake up and you go, right, okay, I'm gonna get some breakfast. You go down, you get some breakfast, and you're sitting in front of the TV eating your breakfast and drinking your coffee, and there's a program come on, so you're like, I'm just gonna watch that program first, and then the program goes off, and you check your phone, and you're flicking through Facebook, and you're convincing yourself that you're doing work on Facebook when in actual fact you're doing nothing. Then it might be there's a link there to a YouTube video. You spend a whole bunch of time looking at a YouTube video, and then it's lunchtime, so you go and get lunch, and so on and so on and so on and so forth, until you end up in a situation where you've done pretty much nothing all day other than sit there and pretend to work. And it's even worse if you have a partner, because if you have a partner, unless you're very lucky like I was, you're going to have a partner that doesn't understand that you are at home but you are working. Because what will happen is if you've got a partner and you go, right, okay, I'm quitting my job, I'm going to become a full-time professional magician, they're just thinking of you as sitting at home. So any little chore that they need you to do, they'll ring you up. Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you go and do this? Can you go and do that? and it just interrupts your flow. And it's not really them doing it on purpose. They just don't understand, right? So time management is so important. And one of the big pieces of advice I give people when I'm booked to speak to small business owners is the very first opportunity you can, get out your house. I remember getting a little office, like it was tiny. It was basically a broom cupboard. It was like 2 desks in there, and that's it. But I went there and I worked there all day, every day, and it got me out of the house because there are so many distractions at the house. Sitting in an office eliminates all of those distractions, right? So if you can't get out of the house, go to somewhere like Starbucks, go to somewhere like a Costa Coffee, where you can sit down and you can grab a couple of coffees and you can have your laptop and you can work there uninterrupted. Get away from the distractions. The other thing with time management is switch off your notifications, especially on social media, because you can trick yourself into thinking, oh, I need to be on Facebook because excuse me, I might get inquiries on Facebook. Well, typically you don't get inquiries on Facebook, right? It can happen. A lot of people do, but you can check it an hour later and it'll be absolutely fine. The problem with having notifications coming from anywhere, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, is when that notification pops up, if it's something interesting, you click on it and that takes you down a rabbit warren. It takes you away from what you're doing. Switch off your notifications and only check your emails. It's so tempting to check your emails, but again, that sends you down a rabbit warren. Oh, look, I just had an email from Alex Azam. Oh, look, the new Craig Petty trick's out. Look, let me have a look at that. Let me have a look at the trailer. Oh, that looks really good. I think I'll go and check some reviews. You're kidding yourself into thinking that this is work because you're looking at buying new magic tricks. It's not about buying new magic tricks. You have to treat it like a business. We're going back to the previous point now. So check your emails every half an hour or every hour. And try to only check the inboxes. Any stuff that's not going to be conducive to your business, send them to a different mailbox that you don't check until later on that day. So all of your emails from Penguin and Murphy's and all the different magic dealers, they go somewhere else because that's going to cause you to get distracted, right? The other thing that I would do is I would get a piece of paper at the end of every night, and this goes back to treating it like a business, you should have a working day. You should treat your day, unless you've got a gig, you should treat your day as a 9 to 5. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a day off to go down prop dog or to do this or to do that or meet up with mates. That's one of the benefits of being self-employed, but not just to sit around and dick around and do nothing. Yeah, you should have a working day like anybody else would. And at the end of your working day, get a piece of paper, and the last thing that you do is you write down everything that needs to be done the following day in priority order. Now, when I launch my new YouTube channel, I'm going to talk about priority matrices, and I'm going to go more in depth with this, but let's keep it really simple right now. Just set a list out of all the stuff you want to achieve the next day. And the reason is, one of the biggest things that affect time management is when you come into wherever your working space is and you kind of don't know what to do. Right, okay, I'm here, I'm going to start work. Don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to start work. Whilst if you've got a list, it's like, right, okay, number 1, I need to contact that agent. Right, I'm going to do that now. Tick. Number 2, I need to do this. And you can kind of hit the ground running, right? And have that on the table in which you're working and have that there. But it's really important to maximize your time. Time management is so important. Number five is outsource. What do I mean by outsource? What I mean is taking elements of your business and putting them into the hands of somebody else and paying somebody else to do it. Why is this important? Well, let me explain. Let me explain right now. Let's just use an example. Here's the thing. 80% of small businesses will close down within 5 years. And out of the 20% that survive, only 20% of those will achieve their full potential. Which means most people that become business owners, that set up their own business, that become self-employed, most people will fail. Wrap that around your head right now. Most people will fail or will achieve nothing more than mediocrity. So how do you try and achieve success? And why does that happen, actually? Let me explain why that happens. And I'll use an example. Let's say that there's a guy called Craig. I think we can all relate to that. There's a guy called Craig, and Craig is a salesperson at an energy supply company. And Craig hates his job, but Craig loves doing magic. And Craig has always wanted to be a professional magician. And all of Craig's friends tell him that he should be a professional magician. And all of his friends say he's really good. And, oh, I'd book you for my event. And I'd book you for my event. And Craig sits there and thinks about it. And he goes, you know what? I should be a professional magician. So one day he walks into the office. He walks into his the HR office of his company that he works for. And he tells his boss to shove his job up his arse. He is free. He has quit his job. And on the first day that he is now a business owner, he wakes up in the morning, super excited. He goes into the kitchen, opens up his laptop, and he's like, right, magic time, professional magician. But what does Craig do? Because sitting there learning 5 card tricks isn't going to really help his business. It's not going to get him any gigs. What's he going to do? Well, all of a sudden, Craig needs to learn about marketing. Craig has to become Craig the marketing guy, because without marketing, Craig doesn't know how to Craig's not going to have any gigs. So Craig has to become the marketing guy. He has to sit down and he has to study about marketing. He has to study about all the different marketing techniques. Then he realizes that he's probably going to need a website. And so he becomes Craig the website guy, and he learns how to create a website. Then he realizes that he needs to be on this thing called social media. So now he becomes Craig the social media guy. He starts learning about YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and, TikTok, and the list goes on and on and on. So now Craig's doing all of this marketing, but now he realizes that he needs to become an email guy. He needs to learn about emails, because he needs to apparently capture people's emails and data capture, and then he needs to create a list, and he needs to market to that list, so he needs to learn all about that. And then people start picking up the phone and calling him, and people start emailing him about gigs, and it's very exciting. But now Craig has to become Craig the sales guy, because Craig now has to learn how to actually speak to people and email people back. He has to learn how to do all of that side of things. So now Craig has become the sales guy. He has to learn about sales technique. Then he starts booking people in. So now he has to become Craig the admin guy, because he has to learn about administration. He has to learn about how to send contracts to people. He has to learn about how to create a customer journey. Then he becomes Craig the bookkeeping guy, because people want to pay him money, and he needs to start taking payments, and he needs to start making a note of all of those payments. Then he has to become Craig the accounts guy, because he's got all of these accounts that he needs to keep in track of. And then all of this stuff that Craig has to do, and not one thing involves doing a card trick. And the reason Craig quit his job is because he wanted to do magic, and now he's spending his entire life doing crap that he hates, and he's not even having time to do magic. In fact, he had more time to do magic before he's quit his job in the first place. And that is why most people quit. Most people quit because they think that they are going to have a certain experience as a self-employed person or as a business person, and ultimately it doesn't work out that way. So how do you fix that? Well, one way is by embracing it all and learning all of this stuff, and we'll get to that later on. But the other thing is by outsourcing. Outsourcing is taking an element of what you do and giving it to somebody else for a fee. And I do that even now. Even though I've got staff and so on and so forth, I have a company that manages all of my online advertising, all of my paid ads. They manage absolutely everything. Can I do it? Do I understand about PPC? Yes. Can they do it better than me? 100%. It's worth paying them the money, because the results that they give me is much higher than it would be if I tried to do it myself. And also, it frees up my time to do stuff that's more important within my business. And that's really important. I want you to understand one thing right here. As a business owner, you are an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who's trying to do something different to everyone else, set up a company, whatever it may be. You're an entrepreneur, like it or not, you are. And when you're an entrepreneur, you can either work in your business or you can work on your business. And if you spend all of your time working in your business, then you're going to have no time at all to work on your business. And the stuff that achieves growth, the stuff that really pushes your business forward to the next level, is when you work on your business and you come up with marketing ideas and strategies and tips and growth strategies that are going to help you get more gigs and get more work, or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Whatever your goal is, that's what's going to help you get it. But you know what? I see so many business owners that try and do everything themselves. So I'll give you an example of a perfect thing that you can do to outsource immediately. You can outsource your phone calls and your emails to a virtual PA. What's a virtual PA? A virtual PA is somebody who answers the phone for you on your behalf and will either take a message and pass it on to you, or they'll have access to your calendar and they'll be able to book people in, or if people are checking details or wanting to make payments, they can do all that for you. And now you're probably thinking, well, isn't that going to cost a lot of money? And the answer is no. First of all, it's going to cost some money. But did you think you were going to set up a business with no working capital? You do need to have some you do need to have some money that you spend on that business in order to make the business a success. But here's the thing: if you can have a virtual PA answer your phone calls when you don't answer the phone. So you can have it set so that if you don't answer your phone within 5 rings, for example, it goes through to an all-day PA or a virtual PA who will answer the phone for you on your behalf. Well, think about that. If you haven't answered the phone, you're probably busy. Now, you might be at a gig. You might be having a meal, whatever the reason. How many people that go out and gig have been in a situation where you've missed a phone call and you've rung them back and they've gone, oh yeah, I was inquiring about a magician, but I've booked somebody. That feeling that you have inside is kind of like, shit, that should have been mine. They called me first. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Well, if that phone didn't get answered by you, but it got passed on to somebody else who answered the phone on your behalf, yeah, he's available. This is his price. Would you like me to book it in? Well, or if you don't want them to have that much control over your business, you could just have them take a message and send you a text message, and they could go, yeah, unfortunately, he's not here at the moment. He's a little bit busy, but if you give me your name and phone number, I'll get him to call you back by the end of today. Would that be okay? And then they send you a text message going, this person called on this date. Can you call them back? It's about an inquiry. Now, they're not going to ring around other people, or they're unlikely to. They've had a really professional response. It's not like they've gone through a terrible voicemail or they've just not had the phone answered to them at all. So they're more likely to book you. And you ring them back and you go, hey, I've been passed on your details by my colleague, blah, 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 whatever it may be. And you only pay for the virtual PA when they answer the phone for you. It's not like you pay them a set fee every single month. You only pay them when they answer the phone for you. Well, if you answer the phone whenever you can, the only time they're answering it is when you're in a gig or you're busy, in which case they're saving you money. And that's the mindset. You need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. You can't do everything on your own. You need to outsource. It is so vitally important. If you want to be a successful magician, you need to outsource something occasionally. Number 6, set budgets. It baffles me that I see so many magicians who have no idea what money they've got or how well their business is doing monetarily. They just haven't got a clue. Because what happens is, you see it a lot. They do a cash pickup. I'm gonna grab cash from that gig, and they put it in their pocket, and they get cash from that gig, and that goes in the pocket, and they don't take payment up front or deposits or anything like that, or insist on payment to be up front. They just take cash and they put it in their pocket. And you know, when you've got money in your pocket, you don't put it in the bank account, it's in your pocket. And you go to a shop and it's like, oh yeah, 20 quid, there you go. And all of a sudden that money disappears, but then your mortgage or your rent comes out and that money isn't in the bank account. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to insist that absolutely everybody pays for the gig before the gig happens. Understand your payment terms. I would personally take a deposit on booking or within 6 days or something, or 7 days, and then take the balance a week before the event. That's what I do if I were you. And all that money goes into a bank account. And then you don't have to worry about picking up cash at the gig, but it also means it's not in your pocket, it's in the business bank account. And don't tell me that you haven't got a business bank account. You need a business bank account. But the other thing is you need to know your numbers. You need to know your figures. You need to know how much money is coming in. You need to know how much stuff costs. What are your running costs? What is it going to cost you to run your business? Make a note of all of this stuff. How much money do you have to spend on your website to keep it active every single month? If you've got a PA company answering your phones, how much is the average that you have to pay them? How much money is your tax and national insurance going to be? And can you put that in a separate bank account out the way so you don't have to worry about that when that bill comes in? How much is everything? What's your expendables? How much do you need? Do you need to buy a new brick of cards in Costco every week? In which case, how much is that? Put that on there. All of this stuff that you need to run your business, and also all of the stuff that you need to live, have all of that there. Because then you're going to need to know how much. Once you know how much you need to live and to run the business, you know how much your business should achieve, right? You know how much you need to make as a business. And again, that comes back to setting a goal. How can you set a goal if you don't know how much money your company needs? If you don't know how much money you need as a business owner, how are you going to know whether you're hitting your goals or not, right? Does that make sense? But once you have a clear indication of how much money you need, what you then do is you start setting budgets. Well, you know what? I'm going to set a marketing budget of £500 this month. So I'm going to spend £500 on marketing. Well, what's that going to be broken down to? How much am I going to be spending on PPC? How much am I going to be spending on this? How much am I going to be spending on that? And everything goes into the budget. You know, you want to go to Blackpool Magic Convention. Great. You want to go to Blackpool Magic Convention. Where in the budget is that coming from? What does that classify as? You need to set budgets. You need to know how much money you need as a company. You need to know how much money is coming in every single month. And you need to set budgets appropriately. This comes back to running your business like a business. Number 7, and this ties into the previous thing, which is you need to make sure that you pay yourself a wage. Do not just live on the money. I see so many magicians and, you know, they kind of look at it as very, very simple. They kind of go, right, okay, I've got this much money this month because I've done this many gigs and I've paid all of this, so I've got this much money left. Stop it. That's not running a business. It's not. And it's why so many people got in trouble over COVID. Because what you really should be doing is all of the money you get from gigs should be going into a business bank account. That is your income, right? And then you have your expenses that's coming out of, that's your turnover, sorry. So all the money that's coming into your business, that's your turnover. That goes into a business bank account. And then you've got all your expenses, all your business expenses and everything that's coming out. That's your business expenses. You need to set yourself a wage, okay? Now, you get to decide what the wage is. Now, if you want to set up a limited company, that's fine. To be honest, I think when you first started, I don't think that's needed. I think you can be a sole trader. But you need a wage, right? So what you want to do is you want to work out what your living expenses are. How much do you need to live? What's your rent? What's your mortgage? What's your gas? What's your electric? What's your council tax? What's your food? What's your everything? Have you got Sky? Have you got Netflix? You should have Netflix. I mean Netflix. Have you got Netflix? Have you got any other streaming services? Everything that you need. What is that figure? What is that figure that you need every single month? And then how much extra do you need on top of that to live? So that's you have a figure, which is what you need to pay all of your bills. How much extra do you need in order to have a good life? Because the going to gigs, that'll be taken out of your business bank accounts. You know, filling up the car on the way to a gig or catching a train or whatever it may be, that's going to be taken out of your business bank account and should be factored into your budgets and into your amount that you need to turn over as a company in order to be solvent and profitable. But how much do you need in order to have a good life, the life that you want? And initially, when you first set up your business and you're first starting, you might have to live lean. You might have to live lean. And then as your business becomes successful, you can up your wage, so to speak. But what you want to do is you want to have a business bank account, you want to have a separate personal bank account, and every single month you have a wage that goes from there into there. You have a set amount that goes into your personal bank account. Everything else stays in the business. Everything else stays in the business. And then that money that's in the business is what's paying all the business expenses. It's paying the marketing. It's paying the whatever it is, and we'll get to this later on. But all of the expenses that you have within your business is being paid out of the business bank account after it's paid you a wage. Now, what should happen, ideally, is that over time, that business bank account grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And because you're only taking your wage out, but more money, more turnover is going into the business bank account. So at that point, what do you do with all that money? Well, you could increase your wage. You could go, well, I'm doing really well. I've got this much money in my bank account. I'm going to increase my wage. It could be that you don't increase your wage, but you increase your marketing expenses so that you can spend more money. Or it might be that, hey, right, I'm paying for Blackpool out of the business. I've had really good. It might be at the end of the year, you pay yourself a Christmas bonus or something like that. But the reason you want to keep that money in the business bank account is because if everything goes foobar, and there is no person in the world that can't tell me that things won't go foobar after the last 15 months that we've had, if everything goes tits up, you've got a nest egg there. You've got some money there that can help tide you over when things are tough, right? You're not having to just rely on government handouts or whatever it may be. So paying yourself a wage is so vitally important, but that comes back to running your business like a business. Number 8, whichever number it is. You want to make sure that you are constantly upskilling yourself. And what do I mean by upskilling? I mean that you are constantly learning more in order to effectively run your business. So when I started running my business and I started taking it seriously, I started doing online courses in absolutely everything. Copywriting, programming CRM systems, because I wanted to learn how to use something called Infusionsoft, because I thought that would work really well for my business, which it does. Email marketing. I had so much stuff. I went on courses on how to do LinkedIn. I went on courses on how to do all the different social media channels. I went on courses on how to network effectively. We'll talk about that in a bit. I did so many different courses on how to actually how to improve yourself, if that kind of makes sense. That's very important. It really is, because the more you know, the better effectively you can run your business. And it's the same as a magician, right? We read magic books. I'm pointing over there because that's one of my magic shelves. But we read magic books, right? And reading the magic books and watching the magic downloads and buying the magic tricks makes us better magicians, because we watch and we learn and we add more into our repertoire and we learn more theory and we become better. Well, it's the same as business owners. You're going to read books, which are going to help you improve within your business. It's going to help you become a better business owner. So look at your business, figure out where you need to upskill yourself so you can run that part of your business better, and do it in your own time. It's vitally important. Okay, number 9, understand your market and track everything. I'm going to say that again because that is so important. Understand your market and track everything. So understand who you're marketing to. And don't sit there and say to me, who am I marketing to? I'm marketing to everybody, because you're not marketing to everybody. You need to understand that what type of magician do you want to be? Do you want to be a kids magician? Do you want to be a corporate magician? Do you want to be a wedding magician? Do you want to be a stage magician? What industry do you want to go after? Do you want to focus on corporates? Do you want to focus on weddings? Do you want to be the guy that actually dominates the restaurant market? I did that at one point. For a long time, I dominated the restaurant market in my area. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You need to understand that. Now, when I launch my new YouTube channel, I'm going to be this is a really important subject, but I'm going to be going really in depth with it. But you need to understand where you're marketing your services to. And then the second part of this is track everything. One of my first business mentors was a guy called Doug Dorbury, very clever guy. And he first told me about tracking everything. And at the time, I wasn't doing it. And I can't tell you how much of a difference this made to me within my business. And I'll speak to magicians and I'll go, how many inquiries you had this week? And they go, I don't know. Okay, so how many people booked? I don't know. And what most magicians do, and not everybody, but a lot of magicians do this, is they'll get an inquiry by email and they'll just reply to the email and forget about it. Or they'll get a phone call and they'll answer the phone call and tell people what they do and forget about it. But you should track everything. You should have a spreadsheet or some way of tracking everything. Let's say it's a spreadsheet. You want to have the date of inquiry. So you want to have it there on the date that they decided to inquire for you. Then you need to have the name of the customer. Then you need to have their phone number. Then you need to have their email address. Then you need to have the date of their event. the type of event. Then you need to have in there at that point what type of package they're after. If you have multiple packages on your website, what type of package do they want? And what you want to do is every single time somebody inquires, you put this information in there. Oh, and here's another one. Where did they come from? Oh yeah, where did you find out about me? Oh, I saw you on Facebook. Okay, brilliant, Facebook. Where did you find out about us? Oh, I saw you on Google. Okay, cool, Google. Where did you find out about us? Oh, my friend told me to give you a call. Cool, recommendation. So you need to track where every inquiry. So whenever you get an inquiry, you fill that line in. Then you fill the next line in. Then you fill the next line in. Then you fill the next line in, and so on and so forth. And then having this information will allow you to project what you're going to be doing as a business. And what I mean by that is once, let's say we're in June, because right now I'm filming this in June. Let's say we're in June and I've been tracking all of my inquiries through June. I've been tracking my data in this company for the last 10 years. So I can look back every single year for 10 years and I can see how this June was in comparison to the previous June. In comparison to the previous June, in comparison to the previous June. So I can see whether I'm having a better year or a worse year, and I can kind of think, and it allows me to project. I know, for example, April will be a quieter month for me, for inquiries, not for bookings, but for inquiries. They tend to drop off a little bit in April and then bounce back up in May. And it's been like that for 10 years. It goes up every single year, but it always drops down a little bit. And I'm going to be aware of that. I'm going to know that. And I can look and see if there's anomalies. Like, hang on a minute, that month there shot through the roof. It's never done that before. Why is that? And you can start looking for reasons as to why things are happening within your business. And you might go, well, hang on, I did that month and that worked really well for me. Maybe I need to do that again. And you can start spotting patterns, if that makes sense. The other thing that this does is it tells you when you're going to have lean months in terms of inquiries, which traditionally a lot of magicians have struggled in. How many magicians have you met where they go, oh, January, February, I've got almost no money because it's so quiet? Well, first of all, the business bank account thing will sort that out because you have a wage every single month. So those people that say they get almost no money and they struggle in January, that's not an issue if you've got a business bank account because you get paid the same every single month. It makes no difference, right? But you can spot if there's going to be slightly less inquiries on month or another. The other thing it allows you to do, it allows you to track where your inquiries are coming from. So let's say you've decided to sink £500 into Facebook advertising. If you have spent 500 quid on Facebook ads and then you look at the results over the course of a month and you go, well, one person came from Facebook. You kind of think, well, but hang on, that hasn't worked very well. But I tell you what has worked. What has worked is what has worked is previous customers. I've had more previous customers call me this month. Why is that? Oh, hang on, I did that mail out to all my previous clients. Oh, that worked really well. Maybe I should do that again next month. And maybe that £500 would be better spent in this area. So tracking everything will allow you to make better informed choices about what you're doing with your business and when you're doing it, if that kind of makes sense. Now, there is a lot more to talk about when it comes to tracking everything and understanding your market. There is a lot more to talk about that is vitally important if you want to be a successful magician. But this is your bare basics. You should be absolutely tracking everything. Okay, so the next point is have a marketing plan. You want to be absolutely everywhere. You want to have a marketing plan. You want to be everywhere. You really do. You want to have a marketing plan. So in other words, what's your marketing plan? If I asked you this right now and said, what's your marketing plan? What would you say to me? What are you doing? What marketing activities are you doing at the moment to get more people to inquire about your business? And to be clear, you need to understand the difference between marketing and sales. Marketing is the process that you go through in order to generate the inquiries and the leads. And then the sales process is what you go through in order to take those inquiries and leads and turn them into actual customers that have paid money for you to appear at their event. What activities, so don't say to me, oh, I've spoke to 7 people on the phone, because that's a sales activity. What have you done to generate more leads for your business? What have you done to generate more customers for your business? What have you done to generate more inquiries for your business? And every single day you should be asking yourself that question. What have you done in your business that day that's going to generate more work for you? Because marketing is the lifeblood of a business. If the marketing doesn't work, then there's no inquiries. If there's no inquiries, there's no sales. If there's no sales, there's no money. If there's no money, there is no business. It all comes down to marketing. And think about all the different ways that you can market. A lot of people don't do press, PR. But you know what? You can do a course in PR. You can be sending press releases out all of the time. During the pandemic, one thing that I did is I sent press releases out to people about working with the NHS, because we were working with the NHS over lockdown. We were doing virtual parties, working with play leaders in the community to deliver virtual parties to children with palliative care and children that were receiving palliative care in the community. And I did press releases out. We got a 2-page article in the National Health Executive magazine all about that. Just off the back of sending a press release, which is worth its weight in gold. That's an inbound link into my website that is fantastic from an SEO point of view, but also it was great exposure. We shouted about it from the rooftops. So again, it comes back to, what are you doing? What marketing activities are you doing? And again, this comes back to tracking everything, because you might think that there's a particular marketing activity that's going to generate you a load of work. But unless you track this information, you won't know if it's working or not, which means that you could end up being a busy fool because you're spending all of your time and effort doing this one thing and that's not working for you, but there's nothing else, you don't know because you're not tracking it. So figure out all that. You need to be everywhere. You need to be super visible so that people see you everywhere. They switch on their computer, they look at their emails, you're there. They go on social media, you're there. You go on YouTube, you're just everywhere. So that when people want to book you, you're very easy to find. And that comes to marketing. And again, this is a big area, and I could do probably 6 months worth of videos just on this one point. But the thing I need you to understand right now, because this is kind of just a sum up video, is you need to make sure that you've got your marketing on point. Figure out where it is that you're marketing, figure out your marketing strategies, put a marketing plan in place. Next point is you need to network. You need everybody to know who you are. Now, there's different ways that you can network, and there's some ways that I've done and have worked really well, some ways that other people have done and I know works really well. Let me give you a few examples of networking. So one thing I've done is I do a lot of business networking, or I have done in the past, done a lot of business networking. That has achieved loads of gigs for me in the past, because I go networking, I talk about who I am, I talk about my business, I talk about, I go to places like For Networking and BNI, and other business owners are listening to this, and they're hopefully passing me work and referrals, which is going to lead to gigs. So it's kind of like having your own sales force that work for you. One of the big reasons that I've achieved the success I have is because I networked absolutely everywhere. But there's lots of other ways to network as well. Tom Mullinger and Owen Strickland are two very busy wedding magicians. I've interviewed them both on Talk Magic on this channel. And they both will tell you that one thing they've done is they've networked with wedding venues and wedding suppliers. So they become the go-to wedding magician because they've networked, they've taken the time and effort to get the management of the venues to know who they are. So that now, when the venue recommends somebody, they recommend somebody like Owen or Tom, which is a fantastic way to do it. Tom Crosby is another example. He spent so many years going to the Edinburgh Fringe and doing free festivals and losing an absolute fortune. But the reason he did it is because everybody got to know who he was. So now the success that he's achieved and the success that he continues to achieve, he does so because everybody found out who he was through being at the Edinburgh Fringe every year. Chris Cox, who is done an amazing interview for this channel, and you can check it out in Talk Magic. Chris Cox is another perfect example. He talks about how he was knocking on the door of Objective Productions literally every single day, and how he was networking with people like Alan Hudson and the movers and shakers in the magic world and getting on their radar. So that, and he'll openly say when he got on the Impossible tour and when he got on some of the bigger tours that he did, it's because people knew who he was because he was constantly putting himself out there. So you need to make sure that you're constantly networking, but understand that networking is networking. It's not net eating, it's not net drinking, it's not net getting pissed, it's networking. You need to work at it. And the fortune, this is a little BNI thing, but it's so true. The fortune is in the follow-up. You can go and network with an agent. One thing that I've spent a lot of time and effort on is building relationships up with various agents so that when they need a magician, they come to me. And I'm their go-to guy. And there's like 5 agents in the UK that just come to me for absolutely everything because I've spent time and effort building up that relationship with that agent. And what's the point I was trying to make it? So I spent a lot of time and effort, it's networking. You got to work at it and you got to follow up with it. So when you've met somebody for the first time, let's say you've made the effort to speak to your local wedding venue. You can't just go and speak to them once and that's it. You want to follow up email, send a referral their way, really build up that relationship, put time and effort building up that relationship. Don't expect it to happen overnight because it's not going to. The next point that I want to point out is understand the customer journey. Understand the customer journey. Very, very important. So what do I mean by the customer journey? It's the experience that somebody goes through during the course of having anything to do with you as a performer. So from initial inquiry, through the pitch, through to booking, through to the period of time between the booking and between the actual gig, and then the after sales and what happens afterwards. You need to understand that that customer journey is so important, because if you get your customer journey on point, people will recommend you to everybody and they'll come back and they'll book you again and again and again, but only if you get that just customer journey right. So, within my companies, one thing that we do is we send a birthday card to in Non-Stop Kids, in the kids company, we send a birthday card to every single person that books us. So it's got a picture, it's a specially printed picture. It's a specially printed birthday card, and the picture of the entertainer is on the front of the birthday card, and it's specially printed inside. Hey, Madison, happy birthday. Hope you have a great time. We're looking forward to performing for you. Love the Non-Stop Kids team and blah, whoever the entertainer is. That's all done automatically. I've got API keys set up with Infusionsoft and a thing called DocMail, and it all links together. So when we press a button and the booking goes through, immediately on a timer, that postcard or birthday card will be sent out. But we do the same thing with weddings. So with Slightly Unusual, we do the same thing with weddings. A few days before the wedding, they'll get sent a card saying, can't wait to perform for you. Hope you're excited about your wedding. Love, Slightly Unusual. It's this sort of stuff that makes a difference, as opposed to just taking a booking, not speaking to them, and then turning up on the day, getting the money and leaving. How are you making it an experience for them? So that you've all been there where you've gone and had an amazing experience at a company. You've gone to a company and you've had an absolutely amazing experience. Their customer service has been brilliant. It's made you want to shout about it from the rooftops, and it's made you want to go back. Well, it's the same thing with somebody who's booking you. Go above and beyond to give them the best experience that you can possibly give them. The next point is don't give up, don't quit. I said earlier on, and it's very true, a lot of people quit for various different reasons. Normally because they're not enjoying the journey of being self-employed. They're not enjoying it, and it's stressful. It is stressful. Being self-employed is stressful. It's not an easy thing to do. It's difficult, and I can understand why people want to quit, but it's why I said to you at the beginning, understand why you're doing this, and understand that if it's just about wanting to do magic, it's not always about wanting to do magic. That's not enough. You've got to want to run your own business a lot of the time, unless you're very, very lucky and you have a management team that are doing everything for you. There's a lot of hard work in it. It's why I said to you at the very beginning, understand why you're doing this. But don't quit. because you are generally closer to success than you think. A lot of people quit because they had a clear plan of action. Maybe they'd set themselves a goal. Maybe they'd set themselves short-term goals and medium-term goals and long-term goals, and have said, right, okay, I want to be doing this by this date. I want to be doing this by this date, and none of it's happening. And then there's a lot of problems in the business, and coronavirus happens or whatever it may be, and people end up going, oh my God, I'm giving up. That's it. I'm done. You're probably closer to success than you think. Nobody is an overnight success. They're just not. I kind of think of it like a Rubik's Cube. With a Rubik's Cube, and I'm not getting into Rubik's Cube manipulation now, but a lot of you guys know that if you do something like a false mix, you can be 4 moves away from the cube being solved, but to anybody who looked at that cube, it would look like it would be impossible to solve. Even to a speed cuber, if they didn't know the false mix that you put into that cube, if you gave it to a speed cuber, they would have to try and approach solving it the same way as they would a genuinely mixed up cube. But you know that cube is probably 4 moves away from being solved. But it's about knowing the moves, and that's important. It's about knowing the moves. You are closer to success than you think, but you have to make sure that you know the moves, which is why I told you need to upskill yourself. And it's also, you've got to have blind faith. You have to have blind faith. For every down, there's an up. For every low, there's a high. I've been in situations where I've wanted to quit so many times. I've been in situations where I've been so low, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. But you know what? 3 months later, or 2 months later, or 1 month later, I'm riding a massive high, and I'm looking back and I'm thinking, oh my God, could you imagine if I quit? I know so many magicians that have quit during coronavirus. And now we can see that things are opening up. Yeah, Boris has delayed things for a month, but we can start seeing that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And yet there's a lot of magicians that have quit. They've turned their back on the industry completely. They're never going to be professional magicians again. And that's a shame. Don't be one of the magicians that quits. You are closer to success than you realize. It's about having blind faith, knowing the moves, and believing that you can achieve the success that you hope to achieve as long as you work hard. The final point, the absolute final point, is have fun. And that's really, really important. That I don't want to get too deep on a video on a YouTube channel, but we're only on this planet for we're not going to have a second go. It's not like a computer game where it's like, right, okay, now we need to start again. Extra life, please. That's it. So have fun along the way. And there's been periods of time in my life where I've just been focused on my business, and all I've done is work 20 hours a day every single day, day in, day out. I've just worked my arse off. And I look back and I regret that. Have fun along the way. Look at the positives. When you get yourself into a negative space, and we talked about the highs and lows, ask yourself what this makes possible. Because that's what I did during COVID. I said to myself, what does this make possible? I can't perform. I can't leave the house. What can I do? Well, what I can do is virtual shows. So we did virtual shows. What else can I do? I can have fun with my kid. My kid's at home. I'm at home. Ryland's become 1,000,000 times better as a magician since lockdown because I've just been working with him all of the time. What else can I do? I can set up a YouTube channel. Well, every single person that's watching this video can see how this has gone over the last year. So, have fun with it and look at the positives, not at the negatives. Look at every single situation you find yourself in within your business and ask yourself, what does this make possible? Because if you look at stuff in a negative way, then you're just going to fail. If you kind of keep saying to yourself over and over again, I'm going to fail, this is terrible, things are going wrong, I'm never going to achieve the success I want to achieve, guess what? You never will. But if you have a positive outlook on life and you just try to be as positive as you can, even during a global pandemic, if you ask yourself what this can achieve and what you can do instead, then you are going to become more successful. It's as simple as that. And again, like I said at the very beginning of the video, you and you alone can define what that success is. But, it's very important to feel positive and be positive. So there you go, guys. That is 13 or 14 tips. I don't even know how many I did there, but that's a whole bunch of tips that I genuinely promise you will help you get ahead in business if you implement them. Now, I know that there's going to be people that have watched this video, and in 6 months' time, they're going to be exactly the same position they're in. And they're not going to have managed to achieve anything, and they're going to be exactly where they are right now, and they're going to have done nothing. Well, if you do nothing, you're going to get nothing. It's as simple as that. But if you take time and you work hard and you start working on it now, in 6 months' time, you can be in a much better position. You can be getting bigger gigs, better gigs, high-paying gigs. What's the best time to start implementing the stuff that I've talked to you about? Last year. When's the next best time? Right here, right now. That's my opinion anyway. Now, guys, as I say, this was a very different video. I've had so many people asking me to give advice or asking me to answer questions about business. So that's why this video came about, like I said at the beginning. But when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing another YouTube channel all about business. I love business. I'm as passionate about business as I am about magic. So if you want to see the other YouTube channel, just get people to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Shout about it on social media. Tell people on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And I don't ever tell people on this channel to do that. I never say to people, hey, tell all your friends to subscribe to my channel. I don't do that. But I promise you, when I hit 10,000 subs, I'm setting up a business and marketing YouTube channel where, just like Magic TV, all of the content is going to be completely free. I'm going to be back next Sunday with a proper Q&A, a normal Q&A. So any questions you asked last week, I promise I'll get to them next week. Any questions that you've got on this or any other subject, leave them in the comments to this video and I will answer them next Sunday. And also, this was a really long video to put together. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Did you enjoy it? Is it helpful? I would really love to hear from you, and I'd really love to know what you thought of this video. That would mean a lot. But thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be back again tomorrow, 5 by 5 in the evening, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock we got a live, 2 o'clock we got a shorts. I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic.